An epic cookie who was shafted by Death Sisters. A cookie whose friends are all bottom tier. A cookie who failed to save the Citrus Squad. Another update, another throwaway epic. But even with all the odds stacked against her, she still became meta. Today, you'll learn how Grapefruit Cookie went from being useless to dominating the meta. But in order to understand why she became strong, we need to look at why she was weak in the first place. It all began during the Summer Breeze on Starlight Island update. The Citrus Squad was finally being added to Cookie Run Kingdom, a group of highly anticipated cookies. Lemon Cookie was released first, and he was completely useless. Then Orange Cookie was released, and she also sucked. She's only meta for one secret game mode. It's Master Mode's hidden stage, and you fight the project director in it. Orange Cookie's meta for this boss fight. However, this game mode gives absolutely no reward, so it doesn't even matter. Then Lime Cookie was released. This occurred during the Pharaohs of the Faraway Seas update, and she was completely useless, as expected. So these three Citrus members were hoping Grapefruit could make them viable. Grapefruit was basically their last-ditch effort. In all four of their skills, it says if you put them in the same team, they get buffed a lot. So then Grapefruit Cookie got released, and all four of them, they still sucked. So the Citrus Squad buff turned out to be a complete failure. The Citrus Squad just didn't have enough base stats or utility to be useful. Plus, they were fundamentally flawed. Being forced to use all four of them at the same time severely limits your team building options. You only have one more spot to add whatever cookie you want. That's terrible. In the end, it was obvious. Death Sisters intended for these cookies to be trash. Their purpose in the game is to be throwaway epics, and all you do is 5-star them for the bond. That's it. But that begs the question, how did Grapefruit overcome this failure? Well, it's kinda whack how I found out about all this, so here we go. First of all, have you seen anything about a Grapefruit meta on the internet? Most likely not. You might have, but probably not. So it all began when I made my previous video. It's called Death Sisters Fumbled These 4 Cookies Release. Here's why. The video was about how the Citrus Squad got less than what they deserved for their release. I also talked about how all 4 of them were bad from a gameplay perspective. But then, I got a sus comment. Oh Chiro, when you find out about Grapefruit in Alliance. Hold up, tell me more. I'm interested. And then I got another comment. Grapefruit is good for Alliance. Very interesting. I'm gonna try to look into it. Do you know where I can find more info about it? Chiro, video from Witad. Wait, really? You're serious? Not joking? You better not be joking. Tell more. And then, a while later, Chiro, I found a video. So then, I opened a video, and the person who made it got 3rd place with Grapefruit. I watched the video, and Grapefruit kills everyone. So basically, this person named Witad used Grapefruit in Alliance, and it works really well. But you may be wondering, why? Why is Grapefruit good? So, well, you see, I don't know. I didn't make the team. Maybe we'll find something in Grapefruit's skill. She deals electric damage. She taunts the enemies. She applies a 35% defense debuff. She applies an attack debuff as well. She gives herself an HP shield and damage resist. And we can ignore the other Citrus Squad buffs because the other Citrus Squad members are bad for Alliance. Wait a second, doesn't Space Donut apply a 40% defense debuff? That's 5% more than Grapefruit. There's also Dark Choco, Stormbringer, a few other options, so why not use them instead? Well, to find out why, we need to dig a lot deeper. And when I say that, I mean as in begging my friend for help. Is there a solid reason why Grapefruit is better than Donut? And then he sent me a really important screenshot. Turns out Witad also has a TikTok, and someone left this comment. I didn't know Grapefruit was meta, and I built her because she was my fave. Then Witad says this. The reason why I use Grapefruit is that her skill's similar with Rebel, reducing defense and not as delayed as Dark Choco's skill. Now that's the reason why Grapefruit's good. It's hard to understand just by reading her skill, but after using her in battle, it makes sense. She's basically another version of Rebel, and Rebel's already really good. Plus, we're also using Rebel inside the team, so it's basically double Rebel. The reason why Grapefruit is good is because she hits the enemies really fast. She also has iframes while using her skill, and she can dodge just like Rebel. But why exactly is speed important? Well, the Alliance team is Rebel, Grapefruit, Eternal Sugar, Black Lemonade, and Twizzly. There's no dedicated healer in this team, cause this is supposed to be a one-shot comp. Speed is really important when using one-shot comps, and also placing as high as possible on the Alliance leaderboard. The faster your team is, the better your placement. Grapefruit has a really easy time hitting the enemies, and quickly as well, so that's why she's really good. And then, all of a sudden, my friend used Grapefruit and got 37th place. Well, I guess Grapefruit really is that OP. So, you see, I was inspired by all this, and I wanted to find out for myself if Grapefruit was truly meta. I decided that I wanted to be on the Alliance leaderboard. The leaderboard consists of the top 100 fastest players. There's a bit of a slight problem, or I should say huge problem. The last time I tried beating Alliance Hero Mode was, over a year ago. As for my guild, we're casual, and I barely do anything, and our museum relics aren't that good for the Alliance. But I'm sure I'll be fine, right? As long as I strategize a bit. The Alliance has 20 waves. Some of the waves are pretty easy, but it's still hard because you need to clear it fast. For players who can't run a one-shot team at all, you're supposed to use pure vanilla instead of Grapefruit. Waves 1 through 10 and 12 aren't that special. Also waves 18 and 19. Wave 11 is very dangerous because enemies deal injury damage, or should I say reflection damage, that makes it even worse. Waves 13 through 16 are also really dangerous because it applies a cooldown debuff on all your cookies. Wave 17 is dangerous because there's enemies that can freeze your cookies and one-shot them. And wave 20 is hard because there's a very tanky boss. It's Dark Cacao in his crash out form. Well, let's get right to it. For the beginning waves, there's not much to explain, I'm just one-shotting everything. For now, it's just spamming everyone's skill, and now's a good time to explain how the team works. It's also Withad's team. Twizzly Gummy's an electric damage nuke. She pairs really well with Black Lemonade. Black Lemonade has a really OP feature. It's called the Electrifying Rock Spirit. Whenever she uses her skill, she applies a stack of this. The more stacks you have, the more damage you do overall. The thing is, you can keep stacking and stacking this, and Alliance is really long, so that's why it's OP. However, if Lemonade doesn't use her skill in time, like if she idles around doing nothing for too long, then every single stack disappears and you screwed yourself over. That makes things a lot more stressful. For Eternal Sugar, she's OP in general, no need to explain. Grapefruit and Rebel do the same thing. They quickly hit all the enemies and debuff them. Keyword, quickly. They're also frontline cookies who can dodge, so that's also a nice bonus. It's time for wave 11, the injury wave. The trick here is to not use Twizzly Gummy's skill. This prevents her from getting, killed instantly. On to wave 12, no big deal. But waves 13 through 16 need a lot of explaining. And, we're in for a bad time. Eternal Sugar's about to die. These waves gives you a 35% cooldown debuff. It's a real killer. The cooldown prevents your cookies from attacking. If you can't kill your opponent in time, they kill you instead. That's how one-shot teams work. Alright, so if you're using the Jelly Wash treasure, which I am, then 35% cooldown's the maximum. You typically don't want to go over this. However, we absolutely need to counter the cooldown debuff or else we're screwed. So the trick is to give your cookies more than 35% cooldown. This counters the cooldown debuff. So now it's topping time. The toppings I'm using are extremely similar to Withad's toppings. Not exactly the same, but extremely close to the ones in their video. Rebel has over 40% cooldown, some attack speed because he's supposed to be fast, some damage resist, and a cooldown biscuit. For Grapefruit, I copied Withad and added a caramel tart, but you probably don't need to do that. Over 40% cooldown, some damage resist, and tons of attack speed, and a cooldown biscuit. The attack speed helps Grapefruit attack fast. Eternal Sugar only needs 35% cooldown, some crit, damage resist, and a tainted poison biscuit with cooldown. Black Lemonade has over 40% cooldown with some damage resist. Her biscuit has 2 lines of cooldown and 2 lines of electric damage. A full electric or full cooldown biscuit is probably okay as well. Twizzly Gummy doesn't need that much cooldown, so she's around 35%. Some crit, damage resist, and an almond tart to make her more tanky, and she has a cooldown biscuit. Now here's a trick for wave 13. I purposely don't use Twizzly Gummy's skill. This is because I want to save it for wave 14. On wave 14, I use Twizzly Gummy's skill, but not Eternal Sugar's skill. This is another way to get around the cooldown debuff. I'm basically alternating between Twizzly's and Eternal skills. For wave 15, I use Eternal but not Twizzly, everything's all good. For wave 16, you're actually supposed to not use either of their skills, but I'm too weak, so I have to use Twizzly's. Now, wave 17 is extremely dangerous. The enemies will shoot some ice beams at you and freeze your cookies and one-shot them, so it's a race against time. You kill them or they kill you. Thankfully, I killed them all. I was able to maintain my Black Lemonade stacks the whole entire time, so wave 18 and 19 are really easy, which is what I thought until one of the enemies in wave 18 survived somehow, and then I had to squeeze in a second Black Lemonade skill or else my entire run would be cooked. Eventually, I barely saved it, and Black Lemonade didn't even hit the enemy. Wave 19, it dies, no big deal. And now it gets difficult. I need to kill Dark Cacao crash out form as quick as possible. Every team member plays a role in this fight. Black Lemonade, Twizzly, and Eternal do the damage. Eternal Sugar crowd controls, I think. Grapefruit and Rebel help the others deal more damage and also do a little bit themselves. And there we go, it's already dead thanks to Grapefruit. Now I can say with confidence, Grapefruit is definitely meta. I mean, after 13 tries, but my rank is 47 now, all thanks to Grapefruit. So it looks like the Citrus Squad has been saved. Well, only one of them. Not by Div Sisters, but its player base. Grapefruit broke free of the shackles of the other Citrus Squad members. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe and stuff, and the video's over, I guess.